Hello everyone, and welcome to another video in the hardware software support series for preparing you for your CompTIA A+ 901-902 exam. In this video I will be covering how to create a USB device for Windows installation using a Windows USB DVD download tool. Now we can do this using this tool, or we can also create a USB device for installing Windows on or from the command prompt, but in this video we'll be using the Windows provided USB DVD download tool. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we need to do for that now. Nothing too trivial to begin with. Just go to whatever search engine you use and look up the Windows USB DVD download tool. You'll see that we have the top link here is from Microsoft. That's a pretty safe site, so let's go to there and get our tool. And you can read the overview for this tool, and we want to go down to the installation. So we want to make sure that we just read through all of this to be safe. But as you can see, when you get down to the installation, we've got another link that we can use to be able to go through and get the tool. You can click on the link now, and you can see that we come up to the page for getting this tool, and there's a little note here for using Windows XP. Hopefully none of you are using Windows XP. We're going to go ahead and download the tool now. With the executable downloaded, we'll go back and look at our instructions from Microsoft. It says once that is downloaded, go ahead and run it and then follow the steps in the setup dialogues. So we will click the executable now to run, and then we'll go through the steps in the wizard. And with that open, I'm being prompted to say where's the ISO file you want to use on the USB DVD download tool. Once I select that, I can then select the device I want to install the ISO to for doing my installations on my machines. Now I have my ISO selected. I'm going to click next as I'm selecting the Windows 10, the anniversary edition for a 64-bit machine. And choose the media type. As you can read here, I can either copy it to a USB or I can burn it to a DVD if I have an optical drive available. For this one, I'm going to select USB device. Now, since it does not detect any, even if I click refresh, it does not detect any USB device, even though I have one hooked up I'm going to use, I'm going to use this opportunity to take you through setting up a Windows ready USB drive. So I'm going to hook up an old external hard drive so where I can wipe it clean and then use that for my Windows ISO files to be brought into. Alright, so let's open an elevated command prompt. Of course we get the UAC, we acknowledge that. Now let's set up this flash drive, or this actually I'm using an external hard disk. For this we are going to do a few commands here. We want to go into the disk partition command. So type in disk part, and once that comes up you will be then prompted to use the commands that are allowed in the disk part area. We want to list what disks we have available on our machine. I see that I have two. One of them is my main disk 0 partition, where it says there are 0 free bytes. That's kind of funny. And we have the 232 gig other disk here, and that is the external drive that I want to use. So the next command we want to use is we want to make sure we select the proper disk. So we want to select disk 1. With that selected, I can now move on to the next one. I want to clean this drive. So I hit clean, and that's going to go through and completely clean my disk of any type of files around there. You can see that's a pretty fast execution there. So next we need to create a primary partition on here. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we're going to create primary or partition primary. And we're doing this so that we can make our disk recognizable by the Windows system again. So it'll go through and it successfully created the partition. Now we can then make this partition an active partition. So that current partition is once again active. Now we need to format this disk to be able to be used. So we're going to format this now using the format command. Format the file system. We'll just select FAT32 and we want this to be quick formatted. Since this volume is larger than what is supported by FAT32, we're going to then go up to NTFS. So we're going to use the same command. We can use the up arrow key to bring up the same line, and we're just going to use our arrow keys back to change this to an NTFS file system or NT file system, and we still want to keep it as a quick format. And now you'll see that we can successfully go through the formatting process. Once this is done, we want to assign it a drive letter. We just want Windows to take care of that for us. We're just going to type in assign. Hit enter. And now Windows recognizes a new USB drive. Well, I stuck a different one in because for whatever reason the Windows 7 tool does not like larger hard drives. So we're just going to go ahead and go from this volume. This is an external flash drive I've put in. I hit the refresh, it detected it. We'll go from there and then we'll continue with setting up the external one at the end of this. So we're going to click begin copying as part of the next step. You can see that it must be erased in order to continue. Are we sure we want to erase all the contents? Yeah, we know it's safe. It's going to ask us a second time. A little overkill here. We're going to click yes again, and now it's going to go through some of the same steps we went through in the command prompt. It's going to reformat the flash drive, and now it's copying the files over from the ISO onto the USB device. And it will go through until it completes, so I will pick up the video once that happens. And you can see that the last step was completed. The backup has been completed. Now that USB drive has the available files we need on it to be able to boot from that tool. If I double click on that USB drive it just created, here are all the files I need for installing Windows. Now I can simply, with the device managed the way it has been with the tool, I can simply plug in this USB drive, change my boot order when the machine starts up, select this external USB drive, and it will allow Windows to be installed from my flash drive. Now let's take a look at finishing this with the original external hard drive that I had that was too large for the Windows 7 or Windows USB tool. Since we already set up the external hard drive with the Elevate command prompt tools, all we have to do is copy those files over. That's it. As you can see, the file's copied over. It's already been prepared. I can now take this external hard drive, go plug it into a system, boot up the system, change the boot order to recognize this device as where the operating system is installed. It will boot up from there. I can install the operating system. It's pretty simple, and it's much faster than using an optical media disk for installing the operating system. That's it for this video over creating a USB device for Windows installation using the Windows USB DVD tool and using the command prompt to get a USB or external hard drive device ready, and then put your OS files on it, and then do the installation. That's all there is to it, guys. I hope you will utilize this tool or these tools and have a successful installation. Thanks for following along.